It's Tuesday. Lisa will be joining me very shortly. She's just finishing up a quick phone call, so she'll be sneaking in behind me in just a minute. But how's everybody doing? Everybody hopefully had a nice weekend. It's so much different when I'm sitting looking at the screen by myself. It's so different. Hi Trish, how are you? But yeah, it's Tuesday. We have a lot of stuff to talk about today. We have some new class information scrolling at the bottom of the screen. We have just the class dates sort of scrolling. They're not really classes. They're virtual events and Facebook, YouTube stuff. So, yay, here she comes. I said it's so weird to talk to yourself up here. It's so different.
Really, it's a little odd. Sorry, guys. I was on the phone.
So. All right. So, yeah, we have...
wrong hand. Hi.
It is so weird.
Oh, that's just so wrong.
So, yeah, we have some fun stuff. I was... oh, thank you. These are my Harry Potters.
Because who shouldn't have Harry Potter
right? So yeah, I was just talking about the classes that are scrolling through.
Yeah, we've got some fun stuff coming up.
Yeah, the events. I said they're classes, but they're not classes.
Yeah.
It's like it's not a two-way communication. It's a one-way.
It is. Yeah. I mean, there's the chat thingies. So.
Yeah.
Hi, Mom.
Yep.
Mom's in there. Gotta say hi to Mom.
Yeah, we should add more searchers on the list.
Yeah, I think we need.
It
never fails. Placed an order this morning, and now we've got to call and adjust it. So. But that's okay.
That's right. It's a good problem.
It's a good problem to have. Absolutely. So we've got some actually maybe not like wow-tastic information today, but it's super important. And it's certainly something that we get a lot of questions.
We do.
And problems people have with their machines because of these things. Mm-hmm. So we're going to walk through some needle stuff. We've got our monster size needle. So that is just scary. Turn that sideways. I mean, that sucker is like, no, I meant this way.
I know.
Okay. Hi, Caitlin.
Yay. So yeah, it's a huge needle.
So it's much easier to see what we're talking about when it's, magnified by 6 million.
This is why we all feel safe at work.
Yes, because if you make me mad, you get the needle. So, and
I guess I'm glad and sad all at the same time that our needles in our machine aren't this big. I can see the hole.
Oh, that would certainly be easy to thread, right?
Right. There would be no missing that one. We could do that from across the room. Oh, yeah. But yeah, so we're going to talk about different types of needles, and then we're going to talk about
proper needle insertion. And some other little tips to help you make that needle threader work.
Yes. Hold up. Yeah. Because
so the never miss will actually be never miss if you follow our little cheats, if you will. And they're not secrets. We're certainly happy to share them at any time. But
just a little reminder, because it's easy.
It's really easy to not realize that you did one of the no-nos. So yeah,
and Lisa and I are gonna see if we are really.
We're gonna see how
I'm gonna use my left hand,
and I'm gonna use the right. And we're gonna attempt to get needle placement and everything with two people doing it. So if you hear us mumbling at one another, that would be why, because we're like, tighten it, turn it.
Oh yeah, at least I didn't lose the needle.
That is actually half the battle.
It is half the battle. So, so let's talk about needles. So we carry 2 brands in the store. We carry Class A, which is they have the cutest logo.
I know, it's a super cute logo with the K being the
right.
Scissors.
It's the scissors. And then we also carry Schmetz. And like the Schmetz packages changes a little bit. So sometimes they might say Floriani chrome. Sometimes they say chrome. Sometimes they don't say chrome
the
on
needles
them.
Inside are always the same.
They are.
It's just a matter of where we ordered them from.
It is.
That's
yes.
So.
And who had them in stock and when. And we like the chrome ones. They do have a finish on them that seems to last just a little bit longer.
It gets you more stitches per needle without damaging the machine.
Yes.
If it breaks.
But
at least nothing serious.
Yes. And so if you have purchased something and it doesn't have the chrome finish on it, it's probably not because we weren't trying to get those, but COVID has made needles sometimes really hard
very
to get.
difficult. We went months without being able to get any embroidery needles.
Yes,
I
and
mean,
then
it
I
was
couldn't
like-
get universal needles.
They
Yes.
were on back order forever, and I think we probably got like, I don't know, 50 million might be in excess of the number, but it sure feels like it when they finally come in. Because we kept ordering them, thinking, oh, I didn't order these, or she'd ordered them and I didn't know, so I ordered them. And
Right.
then when they finally came off back order, we got a few in. But
sometimes they make it so hard to find the back order.
yeah.
So you're like, oh,
you would think the computer system is
maybe they dropped us off our
peachy,
stuff.
but
Yes. But anyways, we carry the two brands. And
those would be the ones we would recommend that
right.
you use.
And I just want to make a little note. So Class A needles are new to us, but they have been completely rebranded. So if you have some of the older packages that don't look like this, you might have some issues with those. You might get some skip stitches and different things. But the people who make Babylock machines, they bought Class A and they have re-engineered them. So they are very, very similar to
the Schmetz.
To the Schmetz, yes. So,
and price points are going to be different per company. So you certainly can look at that as well. We had somebody working a project and they were using Schmetz and they were just having issues. We said, here, try this. And then it all worked fine.
yeah.
Sometimes depending upon what you're working on, it just wants something different. And
Yeah.
sometimes we don't always know that answer. So you just got to try something else.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there is no magic answer, which this needle is going to be perfect for this. We certainly have a needle we would recommend for those specific projects, but you might find based on your thread, your fabric, and that combination, it's just didn't work.
It's not working out the way you want it to.
But we certainly have seen some really good results with the Class A.
Mm-hmm.
I have started taking them home. I've used them and I use them interchangeably with Schmetz. I'm not noticing a difference. Like, oh, those stitches look way better, or I'm shredding thread here and I'm not there. Nope. It's all balanced really nicely.
They're definitely very compatible. Their brochures are a little different. So, but they do have like colors on the top of the needle. So I'm gonna hold up. This is the Class A needle, and so you can see universals are gray, embroidery is purple. So the very tip of the needle. I'll hold up that package again here. So the very tip of the needle, like you can see here, it's
the actual
purple.
metal part itself.
The part that
purple.
actually slides in. So, and then the Schmetz needles are also color coded.
But of course, different colors.
It's different, right? And their color coding is different. So
and those instead of the entire top, where's my?
Yeah,
there's a red bar. You can see very clearly. I don't know how well you can see the rest, but you can very clearly see that red bar. So
yeah, and so basically there's two stripes on the needle, and the first stripe is the needle type, and the second stripe correlates to the size of the needle. So that helps you figure out what you have in there. It's like
because
debunking.
They actually do stamp on most of those needles, but to read that, you definitely don't want these eyes. As we so eloquently discussed a week ago.
Well, and they do stamp the size, but I don't think
they don't stamp the type.
They're stamping the type.
No, that is correct.
They used to. I feel like there used to be some engraving on there.
No, that's what the colors are for now. They've gone to that.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it's not a industry standard color. It is their color they picked. So
absolutely.
They don't necessarily all coordinate across the board. So hi to everybody who's just checking in.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a few needles we actually don't recommend that you use.
Singer.
But not only just the brands, and we know that you can certainly buy, packs of hundreds needles somewhere and make them super inexpensive. The ones that we just had on our event last week, they had 100 pack of sharps.
Mm-hmm.
Those are good needles. But just because you saw a 100 pack that was good needles, was good. That didn't sound very good.
Right.
That were good needles doesn't mean any 100 pack that you find out there on Amazon or somewhere is going to be that way. So make sure you're doing your research before you buy 100 of something. That's
Buy
not
a
gonna work.
brand. Yeah, don't buy a generic off-brand needle for your sewing machine. It's such a small, it's a really small dollar amount over the cost of your whole project, but it really can make a big.
It can make or break that project.
Yeah, definitely.
To where you go, I just don't want to do this anymore. I broke 5 needles. I did this. I did whatever, you know. So having that little extra oomph in that needle is certainly going to help you out.
Absolutely.
So extra oomph.
Oh, I got that. Oh my
Don't
gosh.
start.
I'm so sorry. You started it earlier and I haven't been able to start.
Dang, I thought
man.
I got it. Nope, don't
No.
got it. Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
So real briefly, and I don't think that you said this. I mean, I was only missing for seconds, but did you talk about gold or titanium?
I did not.
Okay,
so what Lisa is talking about is the make and the make of the machine. So we showed you the needle. Louisa, so before I finish, so let's just say that none of us are a fan of organ needles. I mean, they work.
They will work. They won't stitch as long by any stretch, so you will need to change them more often.
They're not
the worst thing out there. They're by no means the best, but they are not the worst ones out there.
Right.
They actually are what come in most machines.
Yeah.
When you buy a new machine and you have needles that are sitting in there, it's usually an organ. So,
not our favorite,
but again, especially in a pinch, you can use them and just be prepared to change it a little bit more often than you would have one of the others.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay, so type.
So we talked about the chrome,
coating.
Which I almost tried to flick everybody off right there. Sorry about that. So there, it lists chrome right at the top across there.
Mm-hmm.
And chrome is probably our recommended piece. So, you know, if you're somewhere else, that is what we would recommend that you are picking up. We certainly understand we have a lot of people that are, you know, watching us in Florida and Texas and California because people go somewhere when it's snowing outside.
Mm-hmm.
So certainly lots of reasons that you might not be right next door to us. So if you are looking, chrome is going to be the coating that we recommend. There are a few we do not recommend. Even in a Schmetz or something, there are some we do not recommend. And those are, do you want to talk about that? Titanium.
Yeah.
Tony really doesn't like those needles.
No. They're really
strong. Which everybody thinks sounds really, really great.
Right.
However, if you have an issue, do you want to replace your dollar needle or do you want to replace your 30 plus, who knows, whatever bobbin run case, whatever it is that it literally went through instead of breaking.
And that's assuming that you're a Babylock or a Brother person.
Yes.
I mean,
if you are sewing on a Bernina or some, you know, those parts are more expensive in general to replace than the Brother or the Babylock parts. And instead of that needle cracking and breaking, you're going to actually put a hole through a part in your machine. So we really don't recommend the titanium coated needles.
Yeah, if you can avoid titanium, so you don't want your needle to be stronger than your hook in your machine. Nope. And if it is, then you're replacing that hook and the needle.
Which,
because,
you know, I mean, things like that keep us open. So if you really want, though Tony has enough work to keep him occupied right now. So
yes, so don't intentionally
wait a little while before you try to, you know, just kidding. we don't recommend those. On the opposite end of that spectrum,
we have the gold.
And that is actually soft. And so most of the time that's not actually got enough oomph, if you will, to them. They look really pretty. But there's really no benefit being gained from using them.
No.
So
so
chrome is the way to go.
Silver. Non-titanium. All right.
Now, if we're talking wedding bands, we're going to have a whole nother conversation here. Ladies. But for needles, this is what we recommend.
Yes. And so let's talk about, so we've talked about the type of needle, like the make of the needle, but let's talk about like the model of the needle.
Sure.
So we have different parts of the needle. So we obviously have this piece here. This is the flat back part, right? So it actually goes up into your sewing machine. Everybody should definitely make that noise, right? And here, this is hysterical. So you can see on this big one right here, they actually have the words. It's engraved. That's where they're engraved on your.
That's where they are, but you can't read them like that. The needles. Tony has this massive magnifier back there, and he still can't always tell what they are. It's kind of funny.
And then we have this part right here. So this is called the scarf of the needle, and it's indented.
Yeah, so you can see a little bit better with a solid background how it's lower.
Yeah.
In that area. So there you go.
There you go. So yeah, so that's the scarf.
That is the scarf.
And then this is the point or the tip of the needle, and then we have the eye, right? And so this part here, and this part here. These are the three things that make up the different
parts of when you buy a different type needle. Those are the pieces that are changing.
Right. And so the point is the easiest explanation. So if I'm using different types of needles, then the point is going to be slightly different on them. And
it's super sharp all the time, right?
Right. Everybody wants them to be super sharp all of the time. But there's a ton of different styles of needles. And it's that part right there. I lost my, here it is. I was going to say the Class A one is a shorter one that has a different,
a little bit different
explanation area. Yes. And so, for instance, if we read the ballpoint instruction part on here.
Wait, we're going to read. Hang on.
It says, for cotton knits, interlock rib knits, fleece, double knit, ultra suede, and most other knit fabrics, used with polyester or lightweight cotton, ballpoint tip prevents needle from piercing and breaking the fibers. Right. So if you have a cat or a dog or anything, right, and your sweater, your t-shirt, it pulls and you get that snag, and then there's nothing you can do with it. The same thing can happen with your needle.
I don't know how to fix that. No, I'm just kidding.
You put an embroidery design over it, right?
You get your tiny crochet hook out.
But yeah, you get that snag, and then sometimes
and it just runs down the whole piece.
And sometimes you can't, no matter what you do, you can't pull it
and
back.
You end up with a line where you aren't supposed to have a line.
Right, and that's because the needle pierced the fabric instead of going on one side. So
if the threads are in there instead of going in between, it hit a point and it made it.
Yes, and it ran. So like your nylons, snag in your nylons,
like
right? And so
I don't remember the last time I put a pair of nylons on. Not even knee highs.
So you don't want that to happen, right? So it's important that you get the right point, so that your so you don't have an
get to nylons,
right? Running. I was just thinking of an easy run. You can't fix that.
No polish. That's about it.
Right. You can stop it from going further.
And then it sticks to your leg.
Right.
Yeah.
Or
I haven't had that problem in a while either.
Like completely off topic, right? Because that's what we do. Those Facebook videos where they show you they're using like yarn or whatever to fix their hole, and then they pull it, and then all of a sudden, and I always laugh because
it's like magic.
It's like magic. They do it on a pair of nylons, and I think, there's no way that's gonna work. That's got to be some magic Photoshop there.
I think there's a lot of magic Photoshop on Facebook.
Right, definitely. Anyway, so that's why the tip.
The tip point is, and it doesn't always want to be super duper sharp because of those kinds of things. So that's why we have different options. So your ballpoint is not as sharp, where your Microtex
is very
sharp. So depending upon what you're trying to pierce is really going to be very important on choosing the right needle.
Right.
So if you guys don't have a breakdown, there's actually, Floriani actually has a needle app that has a lot of information and is a really nice piece, but there's all kinds of information.
So does Schmetz.
Yeah. Well, it's the same, thing. It's the same thing.
It is.
But they have apps that can actually help you, that will describe what fabric to choose for which needle to choose for it. So
I don't think Class A has an app yet.
No, but we do carry the paperwork.
Right. Yes.
I can't do over here. I'm on the wrong side.
And also on both of the company's websites, they do have
there's a lot of information
right,
out
and
there,
they have the color chart for you, so you can this chart here is really, if you're a Schmetz user, it's like a Schmetz user. Yeah. So if you have one of these next to your sewing machine, it's really good in case you forget what kind of needle you have in.
You know, I mean, of course, you guys can always call here and ask the questions, but as we've said many times, you know, we close at 5 o'clock. So how often do you sew before 5 o'clock?
Well, pretty
on
often.
my day off, right? Shut, because she goes home earlier than I do.
But at 6 o'clock in the morning, no one is answering.
Nobody's
the phone
answering the phone then either. So, yeah, I forgot you get up and sew.
Yeah. Anyways,
sleep
so
is very important.
right. So the point is very important for
the point is very important.
That, yes. And it will help make your stitch look
much
the best.
Prettier.
Yes.
We like pretty stitches.
Right. Because sometimes, you know, you're looking at your stitch. Sometimes it's not important. Like, I mean, I'm kind of type A about some of my stitches, but if I'm making a quilt and it's going to be in the seam, the important part is that the stitches hold it together well. It's not so important that the stitch looks perfect.
As long as it stays where
as it stays where it's supposed to be. That's right. Really the super important, and that it's a secure stitch. That's the super important thing. If you're top stitching, that's a completely different scenario.
Then it matters a lot more what it looks like.
Right.
Yeah,
because then you want it to look like you made it and not a 2-year-old that you let play with your sewing machine. So
that sounds like fun.
Right? They're really smart these days. They know what buttons to push.
They do understand buttons a lot better than they used to understand buttons, but that still might be pushing
come out knowing that.
So,
and now let's talk about size.
Because size matters.
Size matters, guys. This is super important if you want your needle threader to continue to work. Size matters, right?
It does.
So, how big of a needle can they use?
Can you use with your needle threader?
Yes.
The recommended is 80, 12, or better.
Yes.
So bigger than that. So there are a couple exceptions. That's 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One is the embroidery eye is going to be slightly bigger. So you can go down to a 75 on the embroidery needles. So your 7511 or your 9012 can both be threaded with the needle threaders.
Because no matter how hard you try, you cannot find a Class A or a Schmetz in an 8012 embroidery.
That's not a thing.
No, it's not a thing for them.
Somebody asked us that the other day, and I was like, that's
Dime does make
somebody
8012s.
has that, but you didn't get it here.
Yeah.
So, and then the other would be your top stitch needles are going to have a larger eye. So needles that have larger eyes, you can go a little bit smaller, but still.
So then maybe 3 exceptions, because quilting needles
needles
also have a 75.
A 75.
Yes.
So 7511s are really the smallest one. There's just not very many 7511s out there.
No.
So do we have a 10?
Mm-mm. No.
Nope. We have a wall. So unfortunately, no, Barb, we don't have the tins with all of those.
Yeah, like a multi-pack with a variety. No.
We don't have those. I don't know that I've even really looked for one of those, but
they are not in stock anywhere right now.
There's a lot of things not in stock anywhere right now.
Yeah.
But we do have, I'm pretty sure we are not out of stock
on
anything at the moment from a needle perspective. So there's certainly plenty of needles here at the moment.
Plenty of needles.
The ones that we were waiting on have finally come in.
Yeah.
So it's just crazy trying to keep that.
I thought 7511 was a standard size.
It is standard for an embroidery needle.
For
and for a quilting needle, that's a standard size. It's just not big picture,
right?
Standard sizes.
Yeah, it's it really isn't a regular manufactured size across all types of needles. There are very few that are actually that size, and that's Schmetz and Class A does it. I don't think Dime does it. I don't know anything about Singer needles except for they're too long, so
some of them don't have a flat back.
Yeah.
Make sure you got one of those.
You
don't want commercial needles. Those are completely the wrong type.
Yeah.
As are these the wrong type if you need commercial needles. They are not interchangeable by any stretch of the imagination. So those would be the exceptions, are those 75. So 7511 embroidery or quilting is a small of a needle that you can use and still use the needle threader.
Yeah.
So
they're kind of cheating. They're making the needle itself, like the whole needle, just a little bit smaller, so closer to that 70 size, and then giving you a hole of like an 80, which is kind of why they call it the 75. just because the threads that we normally use for those two
Yep.
would not be appropriate for a size 70 needle, but the fabric and the use is.
I hit it. You didn't.
Yeah. It's tough over here
It's
today.
really hard. We're sitting at lunch and we're like, wow.
Wow.
Maybe we should nap before we go live.
Yeah.
'Cause holy crow. All right. So needle threaders.
Yes.
If you can use those size needles, that is step one to making sure that your needle threader will always work for you.
Mhm.
Needle threaders are probably the biggest repair item that we have coming in this shop.
Yes.
And unfortunately, you know, if it's in warranty, it's not so bad. It's still not terrible. It's like what, $30, I think, or somewhere in that range.
Right.
If you're out of warranty and you need to have your needle threader replaced, which isn't terrible, but
and let's just say this out loud because it really is the truth. So we're the type of shop that covers your needle threaders when you're still under warranty. But let's be
it's
clear.
not actually something that's supposed to be covered
Right.
by a
It's just
warranty.
something we do because we really like you guys, right? And we're nice because a warranty doesn't it when we screw it up because we put the wrong size needle in or didn't put our needle in up all the way. That's definitely not a warranty issue.
It really isn't. But
so if you're watching this and you're in Florida and your
and
dealer
you go to your dealer and they go,
and
yeah,
they're like,
uh-uh.
yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that. I just wanted to clarify because I know that we have some people that are not right here watching. So
Yep.
Everybody who buys from us, we love you guys, and we totally we
break the
just
rules for you guys all the
handle
time.
it. Yes, but it's not something that is required as part of the manufacturer's warranty on any brand of machine, unless it just literally.
And to back Tony up, it is also not something we can do while you wait.
No.
So we're happy to take care of it.
Yeah.
There are a few instances where, yeah, okay, I'm in the middle of nothing.
Right.
I can toss it up on the counter and get you taken care of. But, you know, it's a good half an hour for him to get the part out, you know, get your machine taken apart, put it back, and the whole shebang. So
clear off whatever he has on his bench.
he's never not doing anything, guys.
Right.
So
yes.
if you've been here recently, you know Tony has lots and lots of work
yes,
back
you guys
there.
are keeping him well.
He has very good job security right now.
Yes. Yes.
There's
Because you don't
no-
want us to fix it.
no.
Because we're gonna be like, oh, you know what? It looks like you need a new machine.
I got the perfect one.
I got a great machine.
Let me
for
show you that over here.
Oh wait, it was just a needle threader. It's okay. It's still new
You're
machine.
still good to new. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So using the correct size needle is very, very important when it comes to needle threaders. There's a couple other things that you can do to ensure that. So needle threaders really all work the same way. It's just a matter of the button that you push or the lever that you flick or that kind of thing. But the basics
concept.
and the concepts are all exactly the same. The needle has to be positioned properly. So it has to be all the way, zoop.
All the way in the
You
highest position.
Where's your sound effect?
Zoop.
Zoop. You got to put that literally all the way up. And we're going to show you exactly what we mean by that. All right. So the reason that is there's this wire that comes around and pushes the thread through the eye of the needle. So if that eye of the needle is in the wrong spot, it hits the shank and therefore it doesn't work. And the bad news is it's probably bent the wire in the process. Sometimes you can get lucky, and if you only do it once, it doesn't break or bend the wire to where it won't work anymore sometimes. But most of us just assume we've done everything right and the machine screwed up. So we hit the button or we flick the lever again, and we keep hitting that wire onto the shank of the needle and oops. So
I don't want to have to manually thread my needle.
no, it's not a lot of fun. I mean, I think we've probably all been there at some point where we screwed it up, and you know, it's of course Saturday night or Sunday, and there's absolutely no chance of begging Tony to fix it for us. But yeah, so let's talk about some other things that you should do before you use your needle threader to make sure that that's great.
So step one is to make sure that your needle is in all the way.
All the way.
Right. And then we're going to show a little demonstration of that.
You bet.
And then step two is to make sure that the needle is in its highest position. And what is the best way for them to do that? Is it to monkey with your hand wheel?
It's not the best way, but all machines don't have the best way. So the best way is, and most of our machines at this point do have this, there's a needle up and down button right on the front of your machine. It looks like a needle with a bar going through it. So I can't sit on this side. It just doesn't work for me. So you literally will have a bar, and then there's a needle picture going through that. That is going to be the correct position. When you push that down and push it back up, it will automatically leave that. For any of you who don't have that, there's a little notch on your hand wheel. And unless you have decided to play and take that off and not put it back on in the right spot, which I've seen once, but that's it. That's going to sit right center, basically where the machine would come apart. That's going to be right lined up with that. So if for some reason you don't have the needle up down button,
look for the two marks
and make sure that those are lined up.
Yep.
So crack in the machine where it would actually separate to be worked on, and then that little line right on the hand wheel itself. So yes, Louisa, it definitely does happen with that. So the higher end machines, your multi-needles, and then your electric, for lack of a better description, needle threader. So not the lever, but just literally you're pushing a button. Those are actually going to put that in the position for you, which is really cool.
I wonder if I should holler at Hayden's probably still in that demo. Excuse me, guys.
She's going to disappear for half a second. So I'm going to move so you can see both my hands.
Yeah. You've probably seen that one.
That was crazy. Yeah, she got shocked really good on the handle of the door. So those are the things that to look for. You want your needle inserted all the way. We've got a camera right zoomed in on the, hey, Sarah, he's up there.
Okay, never mind.
He's paying attention. He already went up.
Yeah.
So make sure the needle is up all the way. Make sure the needle is in the correct position, and make sure the needle is large enough, has a large enough eye for that wire to go through. Me? I totally did. But now I can only use one hand again. All right. So let's go ahead and change the camera view.
Okay.
And we will show you what we mean by making sure the needle is all the way inserted. Now, I did say that if you have an electric, so it has nice sound effects. It goes, it goes over, and it puts that in there for you. You're not flicking a lever on the side of the machine. Wrong hand.
It's so weird being
I can't talk left-handed, okay? And I'm Italian. I use them.
All right. So let's flip
We're going to go ahead and switch to the other camera. Perfect. And it was fine before. What did we do?
Oh, the foot is up.
Oh. Nope, that's not it.
Didn't do it. So
all right. So
maybe our needle is not in its highest position.
All right. So we have our number 6 guide. So if you ever hear us refer to that, that is that step in your threading. And there's a little metal piece right here. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes as well. But right here is this little dot. And that is always on your machine. And it's very important. That is where you need the top of that needle to literally hit. And when you hit that, that's how you know you've got it up all the way. So Sarah's going to really carefully try to put that needle in there.
So when we talk about putting needles in, one of the things that people do is if they don't hit the hole the first time, like I did, what they do is they move this around under here, and you hit that number 6 guide, and it pops it out of position.
Those are paid. You can
Those
go
are
out
paid.
the door.
Yep.
So if this is actually below, then it's not in the right spot. And you can very easily actually take your finger and flip it, and it will go back into position.
If it's not
too bent. So the first couple of times you can fix it yourself. After it gets so bent that it just won't stay there, then you need to come see Tony. All right.
So when I put this needle up,
and you want to make sure that it's going to hit right there. So you can see that
there it is.
All right. So she's hitting that little piece, and then you tighten up your needle screw. Now you'll notice that I am just using my fingers. You can actually over tighten and actually bend your needle bar, and then nothing works. Don't do that. So make sure that you are tightening this. Finger tight is going to be good enough unless you have
tip down now.
Unless you have weaker hands. And so if you aren't able to get that really tight, or you just don't feel comfortable, just give it a little extra bump. Do not crank down on that, because you're actually going to, if you do that over and over and over again, that's not going to be good.
Sorry, guys. I was trying to make that stand up a little higher.
It was perfect when we tested it earlier. I'm not really
Yeah.
sure exactly what happened, but that's okay. So the other thing,
Trying to be creative here.
yeah. So see, there we go.
There we go.
So we want to make sure that that number 6 guide is this little clip here is not below, but sitting on top of that. And we want to finger tighten our screw here. So this is the needle screw. The one back here is for changing the ankle or switching to, you know, walking feet or whatever, something that's not using the ankle. That one you can, again, finger tighten as much as possible. I do recommend a little bump with the screwdriver on that one. Especially embroidery, because there's so much vibration going. If that's not tight, that screw can actually wiggle out, and then you get a loose foot and it does this little wiggle thing. That's bad. We don't want that.
We don't want that.
So you do not want to have your foot loose.
Right.
That would be very bad.
So I'm going to do what we told everybody to do. We're going to tap our needle down.
Again, it's got the stop on.
There we go. Who did that?
I don't know. When I was sewing on it earlier, I was like, oh, but then I forgot to change it.
All right. So we have tapped that. The needle went down and then the needle went back up. And so now we are good to use our needle threader.
I don't remember where it's at.
Keep going.
It's not that one?
Yep, it is that one.
Okay.
All right.
So again, needle down, needle up, and it will be in the right position. I would say 90%, if not even maybe 95, have that button. If you don't, you can use your hand wheel to ensure that it's at that highest point. All right.
And so here's my needle threader, and I'm just popping that thread in there. And then you're going to see it swing down.
Because the phone will not fall. There it comes across, and it's right through there. So again, needle all the way up, hitting that little bar right here. And then make sure your needle is in the right position, which is all the way at its highest point, and make sure you have a larger, not the tiny one. So no 70s. We see that a lot. That's usually the number that people think, oh, it'll be fine.
Right.
Or they just forget to think about it because it's a little bit more of a standardized size than the 60s or whatnot. But we see 70s come in here a lot. And people don't even know that they did it.
Yep.
So they don't realize they put a 70 in. So therefore they bent the wire without actually realizing it.
Absolutely. So if you have, if that happens to you, or you were looking at your thread and needle stash, make sure that those needles are bigger, and make yourself a little note, like on the package
Put a
of
sticky
needles.
note on it, you know,
says,
no needle threader
Use my needle threader.
if you're going to use that.
Absolutely.
So we're going to come back and get off of that zoomed in guy right there. So there weren't really any questions that were while we were doing that. So if you guys have one, please feel free to type that into the chat. So in case that you didn't catch it, Holly, your machine, as long as you have inserted the needle all the way up, it will place the needle in the right position for that to thread.
Yes.
Yes, Miss Belinda, it's going to be recorded.
Able to watch it right after.
Yep. It'll post to both YouTube and Facebook as soon as we're done.
There really isn't a way to lengthen the tail that's left after a trim.
No, there are occasionally, there's a few machines out there that actually have a setting that says how long of it, short tail, long tail. But outside of that, there is a very minor adjustment that Tony can do, but it's not going to be like a whole crap ton of difference by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
It's pretty much, a lot of that is going to actually play a part depending on the type of thread that you're using. If there's a rebound, quote unquote, in that thread, it's going to come back and appear to be a shorter tail than it actually would have been where it was cut.
Yeah.
If you are having a kind of a mess and it's not cutting properly, you probably have thread stuck in the knife, and you can take off the plastic L part, or
Yep, that's a couple videos.
That's a
behind.
couple videos back. You can check the thread and make sure that there's nothing in there. So if your knife's not working properly, you can check it on there. But there is definitely a couple videos back, a nice maintenance cleaning and how to find in there what's going on. So
yeah, if you miss your 6 guide, it can certainly cause problems as well.
Absolutely, because that 6 guide is what's keeping that thread tight to the needle. So if it's not functioning properly, if it's below, wrong hand, if it's below that bar instead of sitting on top of it, it will not. If it's jumping out of it, it's probably bent. And you should come and see, make sure you mention that next time you bring it in.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It should do its job 100% of the time. If it's in that top position,
right,
it should work. If
and
it's
it
not,
won't pop
then it's
out easily.
No, it doesn't pop out easily at all. So if it's popping out, you probably need it. It's probably bent. We probably need to swap that.
Yeah, it's not springing back in place anymore.
Yep. So, but at least for a few times, you can literally take your finger and shift it above and it'll snap back in place. If you do that a lot, then it probably won't last forever.
Right.
The interesting thing about that number 6 guide, people that wear glasses tend to fish around more.
Yeah, your perception is
a little bit different. Exactly. So you tend to, I would say 9.5 times out of 10, if somebody comes in with the number 6 guide messed up, they're wearing glasses. It is just one of those things. So if it happens to you, you're not alone.
No.
And it's really, it's completely normal to fish around. But just go a little bit slower and try not to move quite so much, and you probably will have some better luck. So,
yep.
All right. So what else we got?
We have, so I talked briefly, like we've got that slow ticker at the bottom. So,
I love freestanding lace.
We have an OESD. If you have ever stitched out any of the OESD freestanding lace designs, you know, they were really close to being one of the first companies out there to do lace. Not the first, but I think about
they
the
were
second.
Early, right?
But definitely the first to do like structures. So instead of
building
just being an ornament
with their little hook and eye thingies.
Yes, they started building buildings, and they're a lot of fun, and trees and things like that. So they have a brand new virtual event for us. Yes, we are so excited. We love them and those designs. So that is going to be it's going to be on a Friday. It's February 12th. It's at 3:00. There is a Facebook event already scheduled. The link to do the registration is right in there. You will not actually get the link to like sign
on our page,
in.
Right?
Well, they will get a link, but they only get it about 2 hours before the event.
It's right before it.
So you might get like a welcome or thanks for registering, but it won't actually have the live event link until a little bit closer.
And you'll only get that if you register.
Yes.
So
you can register through the events page currently. We will send out something.
We'll send something out, and I'm just trying to think. I think last time I registered and I did post the link.
We did post the link that
how
day.
To get there that day once we got it. But
and it is so we did this one on Friday. But it is only available for 24 hours. So this
isn't one of those that's there for a week or even 2 days.
Right.
If you can't watch at that time frame, it will disappear at 4:00 or whatever on Saturday. So you have, Saturday morning and early afternoon, but not all weekend.
Right.
So
right. All right. So Pam says that she can't. Oh, that was crazy. So she can't register. So I'm going to go to our Facebook page and see if I can do
under events. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So while you're talking about the other stuff.
So the other stuff, it's just kind of coming off there. Kimberbell Main Street celebration. We had said that we would talk about different things. So this whole Tuesday at 3:30 thing started with the Love Notes quilt, which is actually off the screen over there. But there is, I'm actually very, very pleased. I think the instructions are very clear.
So I'm just gonna, so everybody can see. Here is the event page on our website. See where it says online eventbrite.com. So when I touch online eventbrite.com, it's going to open up another page.
and you fill in your personals and
Right.
register.
And that little green button at the bottom says register. So that is all you have to do.
So if you have trouble, we can certainly try to help you over the phone with that as well. But it is literally right. On the
your next screen.
Events page of our Facebook page.
Yep.
So if you can try that. And if that still, for whatever reason, isn't working for you, I will try to, I'll try to do it for you over the phone and type in your information. So this is the first 4. I have the other 3 stitched, but they haven't been trimmed down yet, of the Main Street pillow. There's a lot of applique, a lot of layering. I changed my needle in the middle of a block because it was like thump, 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 thump. And I'm like, that's not good.
Yeah, it's going through a lot
It's going through. So especially, in the houses and things, it's got, the base fabric, then it's got maybe some stitching that's going around and then leather, and it's got lots of different things in there. So there is some fringe that we'll be doing. There are lots, like I said, of applique pieces, a lot of raw edge as well, because there's lots of leather, and then the glitter, which are those guys right there. Those are glitter. And then a lot of the leather and things like that. So like I said, I do have them all stitched, and we will go through the different blocks and talk about maybe some minor adjustments or something that I made a note of or whatnot. Have you seen a shipper for dime threads? Probably not yet, right?
Not yet.
We did order thread sets that will work for these and for the red, white, and bloom quilt. So if you would like to buy one set and be able to use them for both, or if you only are doing the bloom.
Success. So hopefully, Pam, it was just a minor glitch, and you should be good to go. But it does appear to be working at this moment.
So again, if you have trouble, just give us a call. You can give us your personals and we'll type it in for you and see if it's maybe your Wi-Fi or who knows what. I mean, technology sometimes is not your friend,
right?
But most of the time it is. So, but we're more than happy to help in any way that we can.
Yes.
So Friday, is Main Street Celebration, Friday the 5th. So not in a couple of days, but the week after, February 5th at 9 a.m. Again, that will be recorded. So if 9 a.m. doesn't work for you, don't worry about it. It will get posted to both Facebook and YouTube, so you can go back and search whenever works for you. And then actually a couple of days prior to that, it's going to be February. So first Wednesday of the month, we will do Kimberbell's Fill in the Blank Stitch Out.
Yep.
And we're going to start that at 9 a.m. as well. So Wednesday the 3rd, we're going to do the Kimberbell's February Fill in the Blank.
Yes.
And we'll be stitching that as we're yammering.
Yeah. So starting Monday, February 1st, you can come in and pick up your fill in the blank kits.
Fill in the blank kits, and
we'll be sending the email out in the morning. So early Monday
with the file.
With the files.
Yep. So for all of you who have pre-ordered for like either the whole 6 or however it happened to be for you individually, we have labels that we're going to have for everybody who's pre-done. You'll get the email that morning, and then that Wednesday we will talk about how to stitch it. So we do have everything here for the kits. So there's no I know it's like first time ever for almost a year now,
right?
We aren't waiting on anything. We have everything for the kits for
the
February. I know, man, that 8 balls just smacks you in the head a lot, doesn't it? So we are ready for the kits, and I think we said it was $10 for that kit as well. So assuming you've prepaid,
cute tassels.
Yes, and you're going to get the whole package, and you get 2 towels. So there's extra stuff that you're getting as well, which is really cool. I might want to do the green towel instead because I don't like.
We can swap. I'll take the pinks and you can have the greens.
That totally works for me.
See, look at that. You just need to have a sewing buddy.
Sewing buddies are fun. It makes life much, much better.
Yes.
You can say, look what I found, or whatever that happens to be. It's always more fun that way. So February 3rd.
Yes.
We
Fill
will
in the
do the fill in the
blanks.
blank stitch out at 9 a.m., which is Wednesday.
Yep.
February 5th. We will talk about, they're already stitched. So we're going to talk tips, tricks, those kinds of things on February 5th at 9 a.m. Both of those will be recorded and posted. So you can follow that later if that doesn't work for you. And then February 12th, the following Friday, we have the live event with OESD's Freestanding Lace. And that starts at 3:00 in the afternoon. So hopefully you can get out of work early or whatever. But if you can't, register anyways. You'll get the link and you'll have 24 hours to watch. And we love all of you guys. You guys all keep asking, if I order, do you guys get credit? Yes, we do. So we absolutely appreciate all of the orders that you guys have made on past events. And I'm sure we'll keep having them because that's kind of the way to go.
So don't feel bad about spending your money at those events.
Spend it away. Have some fun. Take advantage because there's usually really good prices.
Yeah,
they usually have really nice prices.
Really nice packages.
Depending upon what it is, a lot of times there's free shipping, which is always great too.
Yep. So. Yeah, they usually have like you said, that free shipping. But you know, they have all the stuff there, which is really nice. You know, we don't have to guess about what you want. You know, that's looking at that So Steady stuff that came in. We certainly
would have never had those
right.
items. You would have had to wait anyways. So it just works out really well.
Yeah. There will be a thread kit. So the thread kit is kind of a combo kit. It's the same
thread set for both Main Street and Red, White, and Blue.
The threads have been ordered.
I love you too, Caitlin.
So we are still waiting for them to arrive, but they should be coming. I was told that they were all in stock. So I specifically asked. One thread wasn't, so we made a
swapped it and subbed in something that would work that was almost exactly the same.
So I expect to see a shipper this week.
Yeah. So hopefully
by next week.
I mean, it's only Tuesday. It's possible. It would be really great if we had them on Monday when everybody comes in to pick stuff up.
I mean, they were ordered last week. So
they certainly anytime would be but to specifically answer the question, yes, there is a thread kit. It's been ordered. Unfortunately, I don't have that here yet, but
it's coming.
It will work for both the Main Street Celebration and your Red, White, and Bloom kit. So if you have both pieces on order, it's only one kit, which is nice. And it ended up being 10 colors, and we were doing 30.
Yeah, like $29.95.
I think we were doing basically $30, so only $3 a spool, which is cheaper than anything you can buy in the store.
Yeah.
So certainly advantageous to go that route.
We did not, we'll say this so the whole world can hear, we did not include black and white.
Correct.
We figure everybody has
already
black
has
and white.
That.
But if you want to add a black and white that day, when you pick up your kit, we'll be happy to match that $3 price.
Absolutely. If you want to add in a black and a white at $3, not a problem.
Yeah, just say Sarah SnL said it so.
They said it.
So it must
we
be
could.
so.
Must
That's
be
right.
it as it is.
Yeah.
Saturday night live on Tuesday. So yeah, I think that's about all I've got. You got anything?
So I was planning on reading over the instructions on the sewing version as well
on that day.
So next week, if I know there's only a few of you that are doing this sewing wise, but I guess maybe more people might be doing it sewing someplace else.
Right.
So we will talk about if there's anything special you should know if you're doing this by regular blanket stitch sort of applique or regular machine, not embroidery. So we'll try to make sure that everybody is covered.
And again, that is Friday, February 5th at 9 a.m.
Not this Friday,
February,
but the
February.
It's gonna be. I'm having my wisdom tooth pulled that Monday, and then we have Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. So right, if I'm a blubbering idiot, you all will know.
I'll just
why.
make fun of her, just so you guys know I'm gonna do it. So, but yeah, so we've got a lot of stuff coming up, and we will keep you guys all informed of hopefully the easiest way to make it all happen. Yep.
And you know, I think you should show Love Notes kit real quick, just in case anybody, we started this SnL with Love Notes, and it's almost Valentine's Day.
It is.
Right?
This is the season, guys.
Tis the season.
If you want to look at it more like a remembrance kind of thing of somebody, that you could add pictures and little notes and things for someone else, or I have my kids' pictures on mine. Are you?
I was gonna like show it. So
Okay.
if you wanna, do you wanna switch over in case you forgot what we're talking, or maybe you weren't joining us then?
So this is the love notes, and this is why we actually started doing our Tuesday afternoon live, is talking about the tips and tricks for that week's. So this is set up with multiple weeks that you get part of the pattern in the envelope. So of course, buying it at this point, you get the whole pattern. You don't have to wait anymore. But we do have the sample here. We talked about the tips and tricks, and all of those are still posted as well. So you would have access to all of that information if you chose to start it now. So there's my beautiful children when they were much younger in those in those pictures, but they're still beautiful and they're still my children. They just look a little bit different now.
All right, so let's take me off this so that I don't
is
make
your
everybody.
arm
Well,
starting
you
to
know,
hurt?
I feel I'm certainly not still.
All right. So we do have obviously the love notes in stock. We do have the kits and all of the things ready for February 1st. If you are participating in fill in the blanks, all of that is here. And
The Pixie lights came in.
Pixie lights are here. If you were waiting on them, we do have those from January's fill in the blank. And then Main Street Celebration. We have gone through every pattern embellishment kit from our first order. Those all went out to the prepaids. If you
haven't picked yours up, it's
picked
tagged
it up,
with your
we've
name
got
on
your
it.
name on it.
Yes.
But the next delivery is coming.
Well,
it was being picked yesterday, so I would think by Monday.
It's coming from Utah.
It's coming.
Aren't they?
EE Shank.
Yeah, are they in Utah?
I have no idea where EE
I
Shank
think
is.
so.
It's not here.
Yeah.
I know that much. So we should have those hopefully in the next few days as well.
Yes.
And so can start replenishing
Ready.
people's bags of goodies because everybody wants goodies, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think that's everything.
I think so.
So lots of stuff coming up. I believe I will add on the Main Street and whatnot into the, unless you already did that when you made the dates. You didn't do that, right? To the website.
I did not.
I will update it and make sure that all that stuff is on the website for everybody. So it's easier. If you can't remember, you can just pop on there and check.
Yep.
Sound good?
Yeah, I think that sounds great.
All right.
Thanks, guys. It's
Thanks
been fun as always.
Always.
Right?
I was a good girl this week.
Yeah.
Yes, I behaved.
Yes, everybody behaved.
Yes.
Yes. All right.
All right.
So,
you guys have a good one. Thanks again for spending the hour with us, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.